And then here's, as you can see, I wired in these connectors, quick connects, so that if I do need to take the motor out, I can just unplug those basically and unplug the computer, which is mounted behind the seat in a box, which I'm not going to bother showing you, and undo the hoses, a few hoses, fuel lines, and the mounts, and the whole drivetrain just drops out. So I can have the whole thing out in less than 2 hours. So let's see here. Here you can see, well, the shifter cables. This isn't. I need to make a plate to seal that up. Here's the transfer case. Gotta make a plate for that, seal that up so that's not all open. Actually, I have a manual van that maybe I would use the cover for. I don't know. I had to kind of reposition this a little bit too, so it might be easier just to make covers for that. But I haven't done that yet. And then also I cut a hole out of here for the seat, in the seat, clear this part of the engine right here. So I need to kind of make a kind of bubble thing to go in there so that when I drop the seat down it doesn't click on the motor. But my seat is never back that far when I'm sitting in it. I have to slide it back to be able to pop it up. So I put this little, which I need to get rid of this fucking thing, little bitty steering wheel on here. I want to get a bigger wheel, but I want to keep it spaced out like this, because the factory one, I don't know, the seating in this thing is just real awkward for some reason. So the factory wheel is too far away for my liking. I like to sit, back more. So, and then you can see where I had to cut out all this sheet metal in the floor, and to be able, because the front axles move forward 6 inches also. So I cut out all that shit and made all this stuff, which it's not, I got a nice little hole right here, so that when it's raining and stuff, I get water that comes up in there. And then also the door, I had to cut the door to clearance it, and again, I haven't finished that, so there's got to be a piece that goes in here, which I'll open the other side up. I did the passenger side, so at least when I had passengers in here, they wouldn't get all muddy and watered on them. So I don't care about myself so much, but the passengers, they might give a shit. So the other thing I would like to do at some point is, because where this comes down and you get your foot in here, there's really not much clearance between your foot and this pedal. So what I'm going to do is cut this off and get a pad, like this, and put it on there so that, I don't know, it'll just make it a lot more comfortable to drive it instead of having this big pad. Just have a little pad up here to drive with. So yeah, anyway, shifter cables go here, and they actually, so I'll have to go underneath the bottom probably to show you, but they go through the middle of the header to go down to the transmission. So let's go around the other side. So yeah, on this side you can see there's this triangle piece here, and then there's all this boxed in so that when this closes, there's just a little clearance between all of here, so that eventually I'll put some sort of weather stripping in there too, and that'll seal it up pretty good, to match up with the factory weather strip. So anyway, so let's go under here. See, hopefully there's enough light. Let's adjust. See where the shifter cables go right through the middle of the header. I got some fiberglass insulation and then wrapped it with an aluminized foil tape to insulate the shifter cables from the header heat, and then the headers have been coated with supposedly ceramic coating, but I don't fucking know. I mean, it's only been on there not even 6 months, I think, and it's already rusted back through again. I had completely prepped these things, sandblasted them, etched them, everything I could, think of to make it where this paint would stick or whatever, but it didn't work too well. So, but I've heard, a lot of people say it don't work, so I'm not that shocked about it. Motor mounts, they're out of like a 2.8 Chevy truck or Blazer, S10 Blazer. So they wrap all the way around so that the rubber's held in there, so I can mount them in that position and they still work. And yeah, you can see that shifter cables come down. I had to make a bracket to adapt the original bracket to the 3RZ bell housing, which this little this is where the exhaust originally came. There's that bracket that held the exhaust on there, so as you can see, it's been very difficult to use the factory exhaust and make the shifter cables work. So, I mean, of course, if it was an automatic, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that shit, but I really like to shift my own gears, so that's why I switched it over to the manual. So, as you can see, my header is crazy stupid. I tried to make them equal length, but I later learned that it's not that critical. So, but I don't know. I had fun making it. So, you can see it comes down. I have a bracket here to support that part, so that hopefully vibration and stuff doesn't fatigue all the pipes and cause them to fail. So, and then the EGR pipe comes in here. As you can see, it's not sealing real well. I got some carbon buildup coming out there. I'm probably going to make some sort of clamp to come over off of this bolt. I originally had it just a solid pipe, but then it kept cracking, so I got this flex pipe I found to put in there so that it could expand and contract with the heat to not crack. But this joint here just isn't sealing quite right, so I gotta do something about that, because I think that leak in the associated position of my O2 sensor has caused me to get a lean code occasionally. So, because they're like right next to each other, so I'm guessing that's why I'm getting the lean code. I'm hoping anyway. I added a drain cock on the motor with a valve, so that when I want to change the coolant, I don't have to take the plug out and shit. I can just open that valve up and it just drains right out. So, as you can see, I used, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I used like a 3/8 plate flange for the flange on the header. So, they're not welded on the outside, they're just welded on the inside. So, but that's all sealed up good. I don't see any carbon coming out of any of there. So that's worked really well. There's a bracket supporting the cables, so they can't just fall down on the header. But you can see that. And then I got this. This is a CAT. I can't remember, Flowmaster or some shit. Some little, performance catalytic converter, and then I got rear O2. So I've never gotten a CAT code or insufficient CAT code or anything like that. So this is working really well.